This here is the all-new Ford Territory, and you know what? It's been on my newsfeed a lot lately. So a lot of you might be wondering, just like me, what's the hype all about? Well, let's talk about it. This is the all-new Ford Territory Hybrid, and it's no stranger to the Philippine market. The first generation was launched in 2020, and this was widely accepted by the market for its price, tech features, and the comfort that it brought to the first-time car buyer or those who are or could be young professionals, tech-savvy, or even young families. For years, this was known to have an internal combustion engine. And for years, it was also considered a top seller in the Ford Philippines lineup. Time passed and market standards changed, but yet, the Territory still had a dominant market share when it came to its category. So when the push for electrification and hybrid technology came along, this, along with the fully electric Ford Mustang Mach-E, was the first hybrid that Ford Philippines launched back in 2025 to match the demands of the Philippine crossover market. And for its price of 1,599,000 Philippine pesos, what can the all-new Ford Territory Hybrid offer? Come on, let's buckle up and go for a drive. Off the line, this is a quicker car here compared to the previous internal combustion engine variant of the Ford Territory. And you know what? A lot of that has to do with the electric motor that you now have, which runs parallel to the internal combustion engine of this ride. Now, talking about performance figures, when it comes to acceleration, from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, it can do it now at around 8.5 seconds, which is marginally 1 to 2 seconds quicker compared to the previous version of the Ford Territory. So all things considered, you will have added performance with plenty of added refinement. The added refinement is noticed first by the comfy interior. But as one driving, it's also because of the all-new 2-speed dedicated hybrid automatic transmission, which does feel different compared to the previous 7-speed wet DCT automatic that the Ford Territory was known to have. The new transmission allows you a smooth ride, especially in stop-and-go traffic. And out on the open roads, just like today, it is also complementary to your 3 drive modes when it comes to this hybrid. You have Eco, you have Normal, and you have Sport mode when it comes to this car. And you know what? You could also be able to access that with a push of a button here, and you could also be able to access that if you swipe your center screen to the right side. Now, about the drive modes though, what I also like is that it also adjusts your steering response and as well as your throttle response. You could also be able to do it individually if you prefer. And because the Ford Territory is now a hybrid, your traditional hybrid specifically, you don't need any charging stations to keep this car going. Under the hood, the all-new Ford Territory Hybrid has a 1.5-liter turbocharged engine that is also paired with a 1.83 kilowatt-hour battery. All of this goes with the 2-speed dedicated hybrid automatic transmission. And so, what's the range? With a full tank and safe and responsible driving, 1,000 kilometers is more than possible before gassing up again. All of this gives you a power output of 150 PS and 230 Nm of torque, all from the internal combustion engine only. But it doesn't stop there. Because you have an electric motor, you also get an added 218 PS and 350 Nm of torque that do run parallel with the internal combustion engine of the Ford Territory. Now, you want to know why else you get a hybrid? Well, it's for the fuel economy ratings of 19.6 kilometers per liter in mixed driving conditions. The last time I got my hands on a Ford Territory, it was last year. And it was with an internal combustion engine variant of this ride. And you know what? I saw how many found value in that car given its price. Now, it is a comfy car. Yes, it has plenty of tech and the build quality was just right. But there were things with that Territory that just didn't make sense to me. As much as, again, what I mentioned earlier today, the build quality and the tech was alright, I wasn't a fan of the engine and the transmission of the previous Territory, and as well as the inconsistencies that the pedals were offering at the time. The engine felt a little bit thirsty. In the gears, it felt a little bit lost, especially when you're traveling at low speeds. Now, with this new Territory, all of the faults of the previous generation has been erased, especially because of the electric motor, which adds power assist to the internal combustion engine, and as well as the braking that you now have. Because of the regenerative braking that you have with this Territory Hybrid, stopping feels a lot more consistent with this new ride. It really gives you a lot of confidence whether you're traveling at high or at low speed. The all-new Ford Territory Hybrid also comes packed with smart safety tech like adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, emergency braking, and a 360-degree camera to help make every drive feel safer and more confident. And match all of that with your multi-link suspension, the R19 tires, and the overall insulation of this crossover, and you know it's going to be a comfy ride for the Ford Territory Hybrid. And it's not only the underpinnings of this crossover that makes it a new car. Look from the outside and you will notice a more modern look when it comes to this ride. You have hybrid badging all throughout your car and as well as a new set of wheels. Those tires are specifically R19 tires, and you also have hybrid badging on the side panels of your Territory. Now some people like it, some people find it a little bit too excessive, but for me, it works the way it is. It complements the side look that you have, especially with the chrome look and the overall color that we have here. You also have roof rails up on top and as well as keyless access and a multi-view camera for your convenience. Now you have to remember that this hybrid also has regenerative braking, which also adds kilometers to your ride every time you coast or step on the brakes. And the color that we have here is called Oasis Green. It is available in the Titanium X variant for the Territory Hybrid. Now, if you want a different look to your Territory, remember that this SUV is also available in 5 other color options and as well as a Trend variant. The Trend variant also gives you a simpler overall layout when it comes to this ride. But with the back of the Territory, this is what the layout looks like. It looks very similar compared to the previous Territory, but you have a bit of a smoked black look here for your rear taillights to go with your badging all throughout your car. There are black logos now here in the back as opposed to the previous chrome look that you used to get from the previous Ford Territory. Look underneath your bumper, there's still a muffler there because again, there's still an internal combustion engine that complements your electric motor when it comes to this ride. Now, one more thing I like about the Titanium X variant that you get for the Territory is this little detail. There is a kick-activated rear power tailgate for your convenience. When it comes to the overall numbers of the all-new Ford Territory Hybrid, it is still the same numbers as what you had from the previous generation. Length is at 4,685 millimeters and width is at 1,935 millimeters, all while giving you a height of 1,706 millimeters. Considering that this on paper is a 5-seater compact crossover SUV, space is not compromised as seen by your ground clearance, which is about 185 millimeters, and your overall wheelbase, which is at around 2,726 millimeters. New to your Ford Territory is the honeycomb grille here, which gives a more modern look with this all-new Territory Hybrid. Now, you also have LED lights that go throughout the entire width of the vehicle, and you still have a camera underneath your Ford logo, which contributes to your multi-view camera, adding convenience and practicality to the overall maneuverability when it comes to this ride. Now, one more thing I also like about this car from the exterior point of view is this, your Ford logo. Now, the way it is right now, it looks pretty simple, but every time you light up the car, the logo also lights up. When it comes to cargo, you're still getting the same figures here versus the previous generation. It is fascinating to see this because despite this being a hybrid and having a battery, you still have space for a spare tire in the back along with other compartments. If you need privacy for your cargo, there is also a privacy shelf, and if you need more space, take note that the seats in the back can be folded in a 60/40 configuration. As a passenger here in the back of the Ford Territory, you will notice that there is a lot of space here in the back for this compact crossover SUV. Calling this compact actually feels more like a stretch. Look, I'm 6 feet tall, I'm sitting behind my preferred driving position. This is the knee room and this is the headroom, and it is very comfy here in the back. Now the seat is fixed the way it is, and I like it because it's not too upright and it's not too laid back, so you could be able to enjoy a nice and long drive in the back of this car. Now, if you need access to your cargo space and your tonneau cover is on here in the back, you could always be able to pull this up here for a 60/40 split for your seats and as well as easy access to your cargo. Now, if there will only be 4 passengers overall in this car, you could pull this down here for your center armrest and your 2 cup holders. Now, if you travel with kids, there is also iCivic stickers that are easily accessible. I also like the overall color scheme that you have here inside this Territory, giving you a more modern look for this hybrid, and the yellow-green stitching all throughout this car really gives you such a modern look. You're also going to see it by your door panels to go with your speakers on each door. Now, with this car, you also have two USB Type-A ports and two air vents in the middle. There's also a flat floor if you were to have a third passenger, and footroom is not compromised because this is a hybrid and there's no transmission tunnel. And one more thing about this car that you will like is up on top. Open this up and you have a panoramic glass roof to enjoy the view. The front is such a comfortable treat for anyone choosing to get behind the wheel of this crossover. The seats are new, and they also have heated and cooled functions to go with a 10-way power adjustment system for the driver. You also have leather with a bit of this yellow-green stitching all throughout the car, adding a bit of a sporty character when it comes to this ride. The Ford Territory Hybrid also comes with a wireless charger, a large armrest with compartments, and plenty of cup holders for your convenience. When it comes to your infotainment system, it is very much the same layout as the previous Ford Territory. You still have your multi-view cameras and as well as your climate controls, all of that right here, and as well as your wireless connectivity and all of the convenience features that made the Territory so famous, especially in the tech category. But what is new to this new Ford Territory is this little detail, an energy flow meter. Because this is a hybrid, you have this little detail here, which allows you to see what exactly powers your car at any time. Aside from your touchscreen in the middle, your air conditioning settings can also be adjusted through this touch panel with haptic feedback, and there are physical buttons on your steering wheel, which also has the yellow-green stitching with the flat bottom look. The buttons on the left are mostly for your cruise control settings and drive modes, and the buttons on your right are mostly for your media settings. Take note of this particular button. This is the feature that allows you to switch navigation from your audio settings to your digital driver's display settings. If you've never driven a Ford Territory before, you might wonder, where are all the physical buttons? And does the front layout feel more driver-centric? Well, if you are to be a passenger or if you're the guy driving and you find the overall touchscreen interface too confusing, you gotta remember that your physical buttons are properly integrated here on your center console. And your physical buttons are also close to your rotary gear shifter. So again, it's very convenient as long as you get familiar with it. Your volume knob, your brake hold, all of which could be seen right here beside your rotary gear shifter. Now, one thing that fascinates me about the Territory though is that your headlights, of course, similar to other cars, could be adjusted. But the button to adjust your headlights isn't on the left side, like most cars. The button to adjust your headlights, the level of your headlights rather, is positioned right here. Hybrids have been making a lot of headlines these days. And why not? It is EV performance without the thought of range anxiety. And with the way a lot of hybrids are tuned, ranges of at least 400 to 500 kilometers on a full tank have become the standard. In pursuit of carbon neutrality, we've seen options like EVs, plug-in hybrids, and everything else come into place. And with that in mind, where does the Ford Territory Hybrid position itself? Simple. It's a gas-and-go kind of car. That makes sense, especially for the one who wants a sustainable car, but you don't want to be thinking about the nearest charging station every time you take your car out. And because this car constantly inverts gas into electric power, you're also not worried about the idea of having stale or expired gasoline every time you take out your car, as long as you properly maintain and drive your vehicle. And with how unstable the price of oil has been given these past few months, now is a good time to push for sustainable mobility. Now here's something for you, the price. Now, while driving to our shooting location for today, I got curious about the price of this car compared to the previous generation. Has adding a hybrid powertrain affected the overall price of this car? Well, according to some light research and a little bit of ChatGPT, the price has barely changed with this ride compared to the previous generation. Here's still looking at 2023 figures when it comes to this 2026 model. Now, there may be some minor changes here and there, but it's not debilitating to the overall purchase experience when it comes to this ride. So that in itself is a good thing. New tech is not inaccessible for the newbie driver, and that's what I like about the Territory. So again, all in all, new technology is accessible for every newbie driver. It's not that expensive to get sustainable mobility. Now, if you're worried about the ownership experience in terms of maintenance when it comes to Ford, you gotta remember that Ford now has a spare parts facility in Calamba, Laguna, which makes spare parts and maintenance an easier thing to do.